The draft is 20 days away, and we're going to start pumping draft content, and that starts today with a full 7-round mock draft. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be doing a full 7-round mock draft for the New York Jets, and just going over what would be, in my opinion, an ideal situation for the New York Jets in a mock draft if we did not trade at all. And so, no trading up, no trading back, no nothing. We stick and we pick at 10, 72, 111, and all of our picks. Now, we all know, or at least I think we all believe, that the best case scenario for the New York Jets is either a trade up or a trade back, but it takes two to tango, and it doesn't necessarily mean we have to do anything like that. Now, this is going to be the best case scenario according to Tigo, and I did reset the draft to kind of make a couple of scenarios happen so that I can talk about why I would make these picks and why this would be the best case scenario for the New York Jets in a lot of situations. So let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. We're using the PFF mock draft simulator, and here are the results. Let's start with the first round pick, and I think you guys all know what I believe the New York Jets should do, and that is get a week 1 starter in round 1. I don't want depth. I don't want backups. I don't want insurance. If you're going to go all in, go all in. Commit to winning. And a wide receiver will do just as much good, if not more, to Aaron Rodgers' success as a backup offensive lineman will. People are forgetting that a quarterback does make wide receivers better, but a quarterback also makes the offensive line better. You do not need superstars across the offensive line, and the New York Jets have that right now in Tyron Smith at left tackle. And if you're telling me that you need to get 4 or 5 games out of a guy like Carter Warren, I'm totally cool with that, because guys like Rome Odunze, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, once he's healthy, they get open, and they get open quickly, so Carter's not going to have to hold up for all that long. Now, again, we're not making any moves. We're not making any trades, nothing. So the next pick that the New York Jets have is at 72, and we walk away with an absolute stud. I have a 2nd-round grade on interior defensive lineman T'Vondre Sweat out of Texas, and to walk away with him here in the 3rd would be a dream come true. Right now, the biggest position that scares me on the New York Jets defense is the interior of the defensive line, because none of the signings that we have done on the interior of the defensive line have really filled me up with any type of confidence. I wasn't a big fan of Kinlaw, and I get it. He plays with violence and aggression, and that's what we want, and maybe coming to the New York Jets, he can capitalize on that and see improvement, but I did not feel comfortable with seeing him as a starter for the New York Jets, where T'Vondre Sweat is a 3-down interior defensive lineman, massive human being who can eat up space and clog up space in the run game, but more importantly, just because he's huge and is essentially a Leaky Fatu replacement does not mean that he does not possess a pass rushing skill set, because he absolutely does. He can penetrate, he can get into the backfield, and having a guy like that on your team is so necessary. But relax. I haven't left the offensive line. We're going to make a couple of offensive picks, starting with, in the 4th round, walking away with one of my favorite players, Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, the offensive guard. I have a 3rd-round grade on Cooper Beebe, and again, another player where you're getting maximum value out of him in the 4th round. And the reason I went offensive guard first is because I think that is the more important position on the offensive line for the New York Jets. I have faith in the abilities of Carter Warren and Max Mitchell to back up if needed be, especially if it's in that order, because Morgan Moses is an Iron Man, and I'm not worried about him missing time. You're worried about Tyron Smith, and I like both Carter Warren and Max Mitchell in those capacities as backup, but I do not like Wes Schweitzer or the other guy that we recently signed on to be the backup. Like, Elijah Vera Tucker is playing right guard, and the biggest reason I was anti that in the offseason before we got Morgan Moses was because of the Achilles injury. Having him load up all of that weight on a newly constructed repaired Achilles is going to probably cause injury. And Cooper Beebe, in my opinion, is a starting NFL guard week 1. And again, it's maximizing the opportunity and the ability of players. In the first 3 rounds, you should walk away with starters. And that's what we did with wide receiver Rome Odunze and interior defensive lineman T'Vondre Sweat. And now you can start maximizing and getting high-level backups. And Cooper Beebe is exactly that. We stay on the offensive line and get Isaiah Adams, the tackle out of Illinois. This is a guy who can come in and start learning behind the master tactician that is Tyron Smith, learning behind Morgan Moses, and just provide you another body in that room. He did, I believe, go to the Senior Bowl, so we did get to see him firsthand with our defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, and all of that stuff. But this is great value in the 4th round. Some guy who might have some potential starting upside in the 4th round. We've got 3 more picks, so let's go through them quickly. With our first and only 6th round pick, I went with Malik Mustafa, the safety out of Wake Forest. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Malik Mustafa. Really good box safety. Not a guy that you necessarily want to trust in coverage all that much, but when you're just talking about an athletic guy who's going to come in, can take some reps close to the line as safety if you need him to, you can do a lot worse than Malik Mustafa. You can do a lot better as well, but we know that the New York Jets don't necessarily prioritize the safety position all that high in the draft. I then just decided to get a guy who has a ton of really, really good and interesting stats in college in Blake Watson, the running back out of Memphis. Rushed for over 1,100 yards last season, and so let's see if he can translate even a little bit of that ability into the NFL level. I am a big fan of Israel Abanikanda and the speed that he provides and the ability that he provides, but I want to bring in competition. I'm not going to give running back 2 to anybody, and to be fair, I don't really want a really high-level running back 2 in the draft. I would rather address that in free agency. It's just about making sure that Breece Hall doesn't have to take every rep, and Blake Watson is more than good enough to come in and take those grindy, up-the-line kind of reps that you might need a running back to take. And last but not least, I'm going to just take cornerback Jarius Monroe out of Tulane. Now, why did I go cornerback with the last pick in the draft? Well, the main reason is we're not going to be able to keep both Michael Carter II and DJ Reed. They're both going into the last years of their deal, and you have to start planning for the future. And I am not saying that Jarius Monroe is good enough to be either one of those guys' replacements, but when you're talking about who's got the size, the speed, and athleticism to do it, and when playing at Tulane against the competition that he did play against, he played really, really well. And so level of competition is a concern, but you're talking about a guy who's going to join one of the best defensive back rooms in the NFL, and in a year is going to have the ability to just soak up as much knowledge from, Sauce Gardner, who is just absolutely insane, all-pro, Pro Bowler, all of that stuff. DJ Reed, who should be, he is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Michael Carter, one of the best slot corners in the NFL, and our defensive backs coaching room is just absolutely insane. So there it is. That is a full 7-round mock draft without any trades or anything like that. And like I said, if the New York Jets walked away with a draft like that, I would be ecstatic. And you can throw away whatever you want in the 6th or the 7th round. Not all that concerned about those guys. You could have traded Malik Mustafa for Katan Oladapo if you want a super, super high-level athlete. If you didn't want a running back at all and wanted to get an edge rusher, go do that. Whatever your bag of tricks is, whatever it is that you want in that 6th and the 7th round, go do it. But those first 5 picks, the first 5 picks to me are home run picks, and I would love if that's what we walked away with. Let me know in the comment section what you guys want to know, and let me know what position group you want me to start with my top 5 list going from now until the draft. I'm thinking about starting with offensive tackles, wide receivers, who knows? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to know, what top 5 lists you want to hear, and what draft content you want to see leading up to the draft. It's going to be a fun one. Let's get it. Go Jets. Do I have an outro? I don't know. Get out of here.